What would you do with the child you saved from drowning vanish for 20 years, only to return as a millionaire with a debt to repay? A black woman in Tennessee pulls a drowning white boy from the Mississippi River, raises him despite social prejudice when no family claims him, sends him to pursue his education in Memphis, and 2 decades later he returns as a self-made millionaire to build her a home and establish a learning center in her name. Tell us in the comments where you're watching this video from, and may you be blessed with favor and the light of success as you subscribe to this channel. The sun hung low over the Mississippi banks, painting everything gold. Keisha Washington moved slowly along the path, firewood pressing into her shoulder. Her body ached from the day's work, but she kept moving. Survival demanded it. Then came the scream. Sharp, desperate, a child's voice cutting through the evening air. Her eyes found him instantly, a pale-skinned boy, maybe 7 years old, thrashing the current. His head dipped under once, twice. Without thinking, Keisha dropped everything and ran. She hit the water hard, the cold stealing her breath. But she pushed forward, arms cutting through the river with fierce determination. She reached him just as he went under again. Her fingers closed around his wrist, then his shoulder. She pulled him up, wrapped her arm around his chest, and kicked toward shore with everything she had. On the muddy bank, she rolled him onto his side. Water poured from his mouth. He coughed violently, his small body shaking, his lips blue. She wrapped her shawl around him and pulled him close. "You're safe now," she whispered. "You hear me? You're safe." He clung to her, trembling. His skin was pale against her dark arms, and though Keisha didn't say it out loud, she knew what people would think. A black woman holding a white child. In Tennessee, in this small town by the water, that would raise questions. But right now, with his hand still shaking and his life just saved from death, she didn't care. Keisha's cabin sat at the edge of Millville, small and weathered. She laid the boy beside her fireplace, warming him with blankets and hot broth. He barely spoke for hours. Finally, in a whisper, he said his name, Ethan. Over the next few days, pieces of his story emerged. Parents divorced, mother gone, father remarried with a new baby, left with relatives who barely noticed him. He'd wandered the river alone, chasing dragonflies. Did anyone come looking? Keisha asked gently. Ethan shook his head. I don't think they noticed I was gone. Keisha went to the village council, the preacher, even the sheriff. She explained everything. But no one knew of a missing child. No family came forward. When her letter to the county office went unanswered, Keisha understood. No one was coming for him. The boy stayed. At first, people stared. One woman at the market hissed, "Ain't right. You taking a child that don't match." Keisha met her gaze without blinking. Child nearly drowned. Color doesn't matter when they're breathing river water. Still, she wondered, what if someone came with papers, demanding Ethan be returned to family who'd let him walk toward death without a backward glance? Deep in her bones, she knew one truth. No one else had pulled him from that water. No one else had sat with him through the fear and silence. Until someone could prove they loved him more, he wasn't going anywhere. Seasons passed. Ethan grew. He helped with chores, devoured every book Keisha could trade for, and asked questions that made her proud. By the time he turned 10, he could read faster than she could. Then Mr. Patterson, the schoolteacher, approached her after church. He's gifted, Keisha. There's a scholarship in Memphis for rural students. I'd hate to see his potential wasted. That night, Keisha watched Ethan chase fireflies, laughing in his oversized coat. She knew what she had to do. It took weeks to arrange. A friend in Memphis agreed to be his guardian on paper. The morning Ethan left, Keisha packed his bag with a brown shawl, the same one she'd wrapped around him that first day. "It smells like home," he whispered. "Then keep it close," she said, pressing it into his arms. "And remember who you are." When the bus pulled away, she stood alone on the dusty road. Her arms ached with emptiness, but beneath the sadness burned something fierce. Hope. Memphis swallowed Ethan whole. The noise, the crowds, the feeling of never quite belonging. He heard charity case whispered in hallways. Teachers questioned his background, but he remembered Keisha's letters, arriving weekly with words like warm bread. You are stronger than you think. The river didn't take you, and neither will this city. He worked late into the night, took part-time jobs, earned scholarships. By 30, Ethan Cole had built his own company, one that funded opportunities for kids like him, kids no one else saw. Through every milestone, a photo sat on his desk. Keisha standing in front of her cabin, arms crossed, half smiling. Beside it, the worn brown shawl. When Ethan returned to Millville, the road felt smaller. The cabin stood as before, smoke curling from the chimney. Keisha appeared in the doorway, older now, moving slower. Then she said his name, soft and low. Ethan. He crossed the yard and fell into her arms. Later, he drove her past the church and school to a hill near the river. A beautiful house stood there, sunflowers swaying in the breeze. He placed keys in her hand. It's yours, he said quietly. You won't have to worry anymore. Behind the house stood another building, bright windows, clean walls. Above the door, a sign read, Keisha Washington Learning Center. So no child here, Ethan said, ever has to wonder if their life is worth something. Tears fell down Keisha's face. She touched his cheek and smiled. You were never mine by blood, but you've always been mine by heart. Months later, as children's laughter echoed from the school, Ethan stood by the river where it all began. He knelt, letting his fingers trail through the cool water. Keisha had saved him not with money or grand gestures, but with presence, with patience, with love that filled the spaces the world left empty. That evening on the porch, sitting beside her in comfortable silence, Ethan understood what legacy truly meant. Not buildings or wealth, but love, quiet, unwavering, given freely to someone the world had forgotten. And somewhere beyond the trees, another child was watching, listening, waiting, because kindness, once planted, always finds a way to grow.